Did you know that, despite having more online friends than ever before, nearly half of all adults report feeling lonely? In a world where everyone is connected, why do so many of us feel profoundly alone? That's the paradox we're about to unravel, because the very technology designed to bring us closer can actually push us further apart. Today, I want you to see your digital life, and more importantly, your inner life, in a completely new light. Not to judge it, not to fight it, but to understand why so many people feel empty, tired, and disconnected even while doing everything right. Here is the truth most people don't want to face. We don't live in a disconnected world. We live in a hyper connected one. Messages never stop, screens never turn off. Someone is always watching. But connection without presence slowly turns into performance. And performance creates distance, not just from others, but from ourselves. At some point, being online stops being something you do and starts becoming who you are. You don't just post anymore, you create an identity around your posts. Especially today, when people become influencers, coaches, entrepreneurs, creators, that role slowly replaces the human underneath, not the imperfect version, just the image that they create. And here's the danger with that: that image is not your full self, it's a mask. This is where the real disconnection begins. You have your true selves, the one that has been there since childhood. Then you created the identity, the version you show the world, and your shadow, everything you hide. The more polished your identity becomes, the darker the shadow gets. And the shadow doesn't disappear. That shadow follows you everywhere. This idea comes straight from Carl Jung's work. Jung taught that whatever we refuse to face in ourselves doesn't go away. It lives in the unconscious and controls us quietly. Your shadow is made of urges you judge, thoughts you suppress, habits you hide, emotions you were told were wrong. And the more you ignore it, the louder it speaks through anxiety, numbness, addiction, and loneliness. Most people don't feel lonely because they lack people. They feel lonely because they're split. They're living as one person publicly and another privately. That split confuses the nervous system. That split creates a constant sense that something is missing. And I lived this. There was a time when I was showing up as an online fitness coach, the disciplined one, strong, grounded, put together, while privately consuming adult content and smoking weed to numb out my free time. The habit itself wasn't the real problem. The shame I was feeling underneath was a real problem. The feeling of, if people really knew me, I wouldn't be respected. That is loneliness. Not being unseen by others, but hiding from your true self. What changed everything wasn't motivation, it was my shadow work. Sitting down, journaling, thinking about the thoughts that I was terrified of, not running from them, not justifying them, not labeling myself as a broken person, but asking, what are you trying to tell me with these shaming habits and the thoughts you have? When you go down into the shadow instead of avoiding it, you start to reclaim your power back because what you accept no longer controls you. From that place of integration, something interesting happened. I didn't need as many coping mechanisms anymore. Drinking stopped, feeling aligned, and since October 5th, 2024, I haven't touched alcohol. I also haven't smoked weed in the last 2 to 3 months. I quit adult content long time ago. Not because of discipline, but because when you're whole, you don't need as many escapes. Now, let's talk about solutions. Grounded, real ones. First, we need to clear this up. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. Loneliness is fear, aloneness is space. If you're terrified of being alone, then silence feels threatening. But when you're integrated, when your shadow and your identity are no longer at war, being alone feels peaceful. Now ask yourself honestly, can I sit with myself without distraction? If the answer is no, that's not a failure. That's the work. Start doing things for you, not for validation. Go on a walk alone, without your phone. Train alone. Take a short trip alone. Sit with your thoughts without your phone. When you choose yourself without an audience, you rebuild self trust. Second, movement is your medicine. You can look great and still feel empty because the body isn't just for aesthetics, it's for emotional regulation. Loneliness lives in a stuck body. Walking outside, training consistently, moving with intention helps you. Movement helps regulate the nervous system and integrates the mind and body connection again. Third, reduce screen exposure. The more time you spend watching other people live, the less present you are in your own life. I honestly take breaks from Instagram, Facebook every year, sometimes for 2 to 3 months to reconnect with myself. Even though I run an online coaching business, it's necessary for my mental health because comparison feeds that shadow. Create boundaries for yourself, protect your attention, live where your feet are, and finally, choose real environments like gyms, martial arts places. I have been training Muay Thai for more than 3 years now, and I have been more connected with myself than ever because it helps you understand yourself and regulate your nervous system. Find communities where people show up as humans, not profiles, and martial arts gyms help with that. Connection happens when masks came off. Here is the paradox. I want you to remember when you stop hiding parts of yourself, you stop feeling alone. When you stop performing, you start belonging. Loneliness isn't solved by more connection, it's solved by integration. And that's the work. Not becoming someone new, but becoming whole again.